All right, everybody. So I'm recording today because a friend of mine who's a colleague in the world of electrolysis brought up this really cool post in a group that she belongs to about women over 50 and like some of the things that we struggle with as we go through our different milestones in life. And a big conversation that happened on there the other day was about chin hair. And I want to talk about it because we used to be like, it's taboo, don't talk about it. It's like, your electrologist is your little secret. Well, you know, the generation after me, like, threw that out the window. They talk about a lot of the issues that we face, and it's creating like advocacy in spades when it comes to normalizing things that happen to people, okay? Now, we all know women of a certain age, we go through milestones in our life, such as puberty, pregnancy, and menopause, that often make changes to your body that are pretty substantial, right? Other than the fact that like pregnancy brings on possibly a child. If it is one of those things that you're thinking about like puberty, it's big shifts in your hormones where your body's regulating itself and maturing. In menopause, it's your body shifting into the next stage of your life where you don't need to have as active hormones. And with those shifts, your body likes to produce hairs, okay? And often they're in what we call hirsutism areas. So like your hirsute areas are usually like upper lip and chin, chest, abdomen, inner thigh, lower back. Those are a lot. If it's pretty severe, it's kind of up into the whole face. And when those shifts happen, one of the big things that we struggle with is how to manage that, right? So let's talk about like some options for you. And I want you guys to understand that as an educator, I'm going to tell you about a little bit of the science, but I don't want to lose you guys, okay? Because sometimes I go and nerd out a little too hard, okay? And then also, I don't want you guys to think that like you have to do something about it. Some of my best friends are women that rock facial hair, and I am so empowered by that. As an electrologist, a lot of my friends will think that's kind of funny. Like they think that that's like a weird thing. But for me, it's like surround yourself with people who are just elevated and happy in the way that they live. And it kind of like has that reciprocal feeling, okay? But I was one of those women that couldn't handle it, okay? I started my electrolysis journey when I was 12. I started my laser journey when I was 16. I got a lot of my stuff done by the time I was 20 years old. And then around 18 years old, I got my PCOS diagnosis. And it was kind of like, they kind of threw away my opportunities for treatment because they were like, well, you're an electrologist, because I was by then. The hair's not a big problem. Go on a diet. That's the stuff that's going to help you with your weight. Like those kind of things. But the crap part is, and I really mean it that way, is that I still had something happening that was encouraging hair growth, right? That I didn't want. Even if I do this for a living, I didn't want to go through electrolysis all the time. I'd already been down that road. So when these shifts happened in my own life, I would have to have like a little bit of retreatment. Let's call it retreatment because that's what a lot of people understand. It's new treatment. We'll go back to that in a second. But I had retreatment in those areas because what was happening is I had hairs that were dormant during the initial removal, that then the hormones shifted and my androgens decided that they want to just create new hair, okay? But this is where it gets tricky. Because of my past with hair removal and because I do this for a living, I understand what stimulation of a follicle looks like. So tweezing, waxing, plucking, threading, sugaring, whatever you want to call it, that manual removal of that hair is going to help stimulate the stem cells that regenerate hair and skin, and it's going to encourage that blood flow to increase, okay? It distorts the hair. It can lead to a lot of scarring in the area, and I didn't want that for myself, right? So anytime a new hair would pop in, I'd hop on the table and have somebody hit me with current, okay? I will admit that there were a couple of times I tried to do that on my own face. It's not a good idea, okay? And I have been doing this for a long time, and I still think it's not a good idea to do it on your own face, okay? But I will tell you, because I was able to intervene early on, okay, without messing with it, like with any of that tweezing methods, right? I was able to get in front of the problem before it became a real problem. Once you start tweezing, threading, waxing, sugaring, and I'm not saying that you can't do it, I'm saying that know that when you do it, it has a very high chance of increasing density, volume, and sometimes color, okay? Usually when we say the color part, it's because the volume and density has increased in that area. That hair was already brown. It's just a matter of now we see it a lot bigger, okay? But in doing so, it makes it harder to then kill that hair because now what grows that hair has been stimulated. So if you are ready to go down a path of permanent hair removal, okay, I highly encourage you to meet with an electrologist, do a consultation, because it's gonna be very beneficial for you to get to know the process. And it is a process, and you have to dedicate time, and that time is money, and that money is not always the fun part because you're getting rid of that hair and it takes work to do so. The pain part of electrolysis is subject to the person, okay? So some areas are really hard for some people and other areas aren't. Modalities don't matter when it comes to electrolysis. They all will get you to the result. It's just a matter of which one's best for your body, and that's why you hire a professional in that space. Laser will work as long as you have volume, density, and color there, okay? So if you have a lot of hair, it is very thick, like think of male pattern beard growth, and it's volume based. So there's a lot of hair present, and it's not only just that it's present, it's thick, okay? You're probably gonna be able to get rid of some of that with laser, okay? But if you're gonna be doing something temporary, I would not do temporary means by manual removal of that whole hair, okay? Because you are going to create more chaos for yourself. But if you shave it, all shaving does is take that tapered edge, okay? So a hair is naturally thicker at the bottom, like a teardrop, okay? And thinner at the top. Well, when I cut that, I now have a blunted edge without that taper. And it's the thicker part of the hair that's now coming up. It's sharper, okay? And that's when it starts to feel like stubble. So unless you're not like if you're not prepared for that, don't go down that route because it will be a continuous one. Can you do nair? Can you do bleach? Sure. Is the risk of chemical burns there? Yes, okay? Shaving is probably gonna be your safest bet, okay? If you are gonna do the chemical removals or the chemical hiders, like so bleach and nair, make sure that you test patch it somewhere. I usually will have people test patch back here so that if it does do any chemical burn to you, at least you can hide it while it's healing. I don't recommend doing a lot of that. I've seen a lot of burns on the face. I would go more the route of bleach over nair any day, okay? But it's still a good option if you're trying to do something that's not gonna increase growth. I also suggest that when you hit that certain age where you have shifts and those inactive hairs that weren't there at the initial treatment, which I talked about earlier, become active because your body already had the propensity of hair growth, because we dealt with it before, then I really encourage you to meet with a medical professional because there are two parts to your hair removal process that are kind of important, okay? One, let's get in front of what's causing the problem, okay? Because I can do a lot of hair removal and so can my colleagues and make it really effective. But if we're working up against something that is encouraging growth all the time, it's helpful to have a medical professional in your back pocket helping you at least alleviate that possibility for stimulation, okay, of new hairs. I will also say that things like spearmint tea, as someone that with PCOS, it's like one of the things that gets recommended to the community all the time. And as an advocate, I will tell you that the amount of spearmint tea you would have to like get that under control is, it's not realistic, okay? If you have a little bit of accelerated vellus hair, that's that longer fine stuff, you can probably get a little bit of that under control, but you're gonna have more luck with medicinal intervention or supplement intervention than you will with spearmint tea, okay? But those work. It's just a matter of like how much are you willing to do? If you're putting all that money into supplements that are not covered by your insurance, I just recommend you to kind of turn your head and go, okay, none of that was gonna work, so let's put that money in something that I know will work. Electrolysis is gonna work for everybody, okay? It does not matter hair color, does not matter skin color, does not matter age, it works, okay? Laser does have that candidacy, it still works. You're talking to a hairless Italian with PCOS because of laser, okay? But my face is more electrolysis, okay? And that's just because of what my body was producing. And the fact that I didn't let it get bad before I started taking care of it. You can get rid of this hair. I just encourage you to like really do some research, do a consultation with a couple of professionals in the industry, see what things are being recommended to you, and then go after it. I hope this helps answer some of your guys' questions about how hirsutism shows up in our late years, and that we can help you, okay? Peace, love, and hair removal. Have a great day. Bye, guys.